In 1585, Japan was being unified by force. Oda Nobunaga and his successors were crushing every clan that stood in their way. But there was one domain they couldn't just conquer: the Murakami Sea Lords of the Inland Sea. This is Murakami's Tide, a maritime strategy RPG about the moment a pirate kingdom had to choose between resisting, accommodating, or outmaneuvering the wave of unification. You play as Murakami Takeyoshi, inheriting the Noshima seat in 1570. Noshima is less than 1 kilometer wide, a rocky island, but from it you command the greatest naval domain in 16th century Japan. Merchants pay you for safe passage. Daimyo hire your fleet. Every warlord needs your straits, but none of them can control you. Your role is somewhere between a sea lord, a kingmaker, and a survivor. In 1576, the historical Murakami fleet broke Nobunaga's naval blockade at the Battle of Kizugawa-guchi. That was the high water mark. After that battle, Takeyoshi faced the question this game is built around: resist, accommodate, or outmaneuver. Fight the unification outright, bend the knee and trade under Nobunaga's seal, or play every patron against the next and keep your independence through ambiguity. The game never tells you which answer is right, and every run answers it differently. The game runs on 4 interlocking systems. The Kasho toll system: you issue flag passes to merchants for koku income. Fleet Command: you build and deploy sekibune barrier ships and atakebune warships. Patron Oaths: you swear blood-sealed contracts with daimyo and can gain or betray trust. And a reputation system that tracks whether you are seen as a pirate or a sea lord. These 4 systems aren't parallel, they're tangled. Here's what the moment-to-moment rhythm looks like. Each turn is a season in the Sengoku calendar. The turn begins with stats refreshing and old contracts resolving. An authored event fires: a convoy in the strait, an envoy from the Mori, a Nojima rival, a typhoon. You make one choice from 3 options: the Sea Lord way, the Merchant way, or the Kaizoku way. All 4 systems react. New events queue up. No save scumming. Commitments stick. Zoom out to the full campaign. A single playthrough runs 15 to 20 hours. Act 1 covers the rise from 1570 to 1576, culminating in Kizugawa-guchi. At that pivot point, the timeline fractures into 3 divergent paths. Resist, and you end as the last Kaizoku. Nobunaga's ironclads eventually break your strait. Accommodate, and you end as a Sea Lord of Oda. You keep the islands but lose the name. Outmaneuver, and you end as Master of Tides. Domain intact through 1585. Which paths are available depends on what you did in Act 1. Every run you haven't played is a different Act 2. The setting is the Seto Inland Sea, between 1570 and 1585, which was Japan's logistical lifeline in the Sengoku period. 3,000 islands, narrow straits, a labyrinth of trade routes. Key locations are drawn directly from Shapinsky's scholarship: Noshima as the Murakami HQ, Kizugawa-guchi, where the 1576 battle broke the blockade, and the network of ports from Minoshima in the west to Shiwaku in the east that made up the peak of the Murakami domain. The art direction is grounded in traditional Japanese folding screen painting, Byobu style. Deep indigo seas, gold leaf, flat color, period-accurate cartography. The game looks like a scholar's historical artifact, not a cinematic blockbuster. Every mechanic in the game comes from Peter Shapinsky's scholarship. His work on the Kaizoku, his 2014 book Lords of the Sea, his 2016 Envoys and Escorts chapter. Players learn the economic structure of medieval sea lords not by reading about it, but by operating it. It's history you can play, without the warlord hero worship that these games usually lean on. The target audience is strategy gamers between 25 and 40, who value historical depth over cinematic action. Comparables: Crusader Kings 3 for the patron and oath mechanics, Total War Shogun 2 for the Sengoku naval flavor, Return of the Obra Dinn for the maritime atmosphere and the reward of historical detective work. There are plenty of Sengoku games. None of them are about the sea. The differentiation is threefold. No other title in this era centers the maritime domain. Post-Kizugawa-guchi political negotiation has never been the central hook of a historical strategy game, and the scholarship grounding, drawing exclusively from one historian's 3 works, means the claims hold up to academic scrutiny. We're seeking $100,000. That funds an 18-month production cycle, 6 months of narrative design and systems prototyping, 12 months of implementation, and a final polish and Q&A pass. The team is small, full stack, and the technology is ready. Command the tides. Shape history. Thank you.